Hello. Oh, yes, now I can. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, yes, yes. Can you hear me, guys?
Hi, my name is Martin Ektes. I am a multi-award-winning innovator. I worked in companies like Nokia Networks, where I made them award-winning in cloud in 2010, Ubuntu in IoT in 2015, legal in general 18, 19, and 20, I think, in anything from blockchain, AI, and so on. I have been helping a lot of startups and scale-ups with like innovation around AI and Web3, where I often act as like fractional CTO or CPO. And currently, I have open sourced a new thing around AI agents to plug in whatever tool you want into your ChatGPT or otherwise on a new standard called MCP.
Hi everyone, my name is Mario Tomic. I'm Croatian living in Spain, and I work as a fractional CTO for non-technical founders, either in early stage to help them build their product, hire, manage their team, or later on when they have some traction to help them manage their technology and grow.
Well, that's amazing. Thank you very much to both of you. Really appreciate that. Before we start taking some questions, what would you say are your biggest do's and don'ts, gentlemen? If you can think of maybe a couple each, that would be great. If not as many as you can, but a couple of each would do. Martin, do you want to go first?
Yes, so don't give up too quickly that day job. Find a problem to fall in love with, not a solution. Trying to bootstrap. Definitely don't hold back into your corner. Like share what you're working on. Launch things in with embarrassing prototypes. So all of these are the do's, the don'ts. Like, hey, this is not the time to make slides and go for funding. If you don't have traction, forget about that. Like, don't make it a secret, like, or fall in love with your solution. Test your problems and solutions for it, and get traction as soon as possible.
Okay, yeah. What I have right now, for example, is the case of my client of a startup who in business to business SaaS, and they're struggling to get the first client because they didn't expect very long sales cycles for B2B SaaS companies. And then when they people are kind of interested, but when they go on a call, then what do you do about security? Then they start going into their security team starting to vet them, and then you realize that selling to enterprises is much complex than initially think, and then having good idea or having even interesting product is sometimes not enough. So for those guys wanting to go into B2B SaaS, you probably never too early to start selling and start because the process to actual first customer will be 100% longer than you initially think, even if you get a lot of promises early on.
Okay. That's some brilliant points there. Thank you very much to both of you. We've got some questions that were sent in to us, but just a reminder to everybody, this is our 146 startup product and tech Q&A. We're here to help founders with whatever questions you may have in terms of building your early stage product and tech. The idea, it's quite simple. You see, unfortunately, over 90% of startups fail. And the top three reasons for that are: one, market fit; two, running out of money; and three, not having the right people. And there couldn't be anything more important about your ability to not only survive, but actually thrive than you being able to build that early stage product or tech. Now, in terms of today's questions, they can be on anything to do with your product or tech. It could be your product roadmap, your design, your prototype, your testing, launching your MVP, and anything in between or beyond for that matter. There are no wrong questions, and there's no need to be shy. It's a learning curve for us all. Now, for those of you that are tuning in via LinkedIn, YouTube, Facebook, or Instagram, please remember that unfortunately we're unable to monitor your questions there. So if you do want to ask us anything, you'll need to join us here live on Microsoft Teams. It's audio only, which means you can basically join us from anywhere, i.e. it's flexible in terms of location as well as which platform you use. On the other hand, you also need to understand that we are only here for an hour. So that means for the next 46 minutes, and that time goes much quicker than we would like to. So if you do have any questions for us, you need to join us directly and as soon as you can. The way to do that is either by going to the links that you have on those live streams, or you need to go to our website, startup to scaleup.club, and there find today's session, which is Startup Product and Tech Q&A 146. Click join, and then it's a quick registration. You'll then get an email with a link, basically. You click on that link and you can join us here. And now, without further ado, we'll go to a question that was sent in to us. Where is it? Okay. So I've a fitness app in London that tracks user activity in real time. Sorry. We're experiencing delays in data syncing, which affects the user experience. What specific approaches should we take to address performance issues from a product standpoint, ensuring that real-time tracking is reliable and that performance remains high even as we add features? Interesting one. Sorry, I keep sneezing. Shall we go to Mario?
Thank you,
Mario
Anton.
first,
So
and then Martin.
I'm not sure. This definitely lacks context here. What does it really mean? Data syncing and real-time tracking is reliable, because by definition real-time tracking is not reliable, right? So I'm not sure what they what
There am I.
yeah. So right now I'm working for a company that do this GPS powered like device tracking, right? You put it in your car and it tells you where it is, right? That kind of thing. And it just not reliable, because it is reliable, but sometimes it's not, and then it comes to you to realize, okay, cool, now this guy is under in a tunnel, so there's no GPS connectivity for like half a minute or whatever, right? So I'm not sure what they mean here by delays in data syncing. If just from very top level perspective, so if they have this kind of issues and they're not very big, then they probably have some like very basic issues with their application, or like they have some basic issue with not understanding what technology can or cannot do in their case, right? So unless they have huge traction, and they probably don't, since they're asking this question in the first place, I would probably point out to get some more extra guidance on like what's going on there, like what kind of problems they actually have, and what is root cause of those issues, right? And then taking it from there. Because just by how this question is asked, I feel like there's a bit of disconnect with between what founders are asking and what answers they're getting from their dev team. Because is it data syncing or is it live tracking, right? Because those two things are not the same. So in this case, I feel like and feel like founder is being kept in a black box and not being given proper answers by their dev team.
Could it be
yeah.
both, Mario? Could it be both the syncing and also the tracking?
it can be whatever, but like it feels like it can be both for sure. It's just a thing that sometimes dev team they use this thing that founders cannot ask proper questions to kind of not answer them properly, to use that as excuse, right? Because non-technical founders really sometimes they don't know how to ask, but they really know what problem they have, right? And then you ask me that, but then that I answered you, but sometimes their team would, if it's some external agency or whatever, sometimes they would use that as a excuse not to answer to the merit of the question, right? Because founders just cannot ask the right ones. And I feel like this is so they might be given answers like, oh, there's we have issues with tracking, whatever, and then founder really kind of end up being lost in that like technical conversation. And and I've seen that a lot of time, because especially when you work with outsourced team, then like they have maybe different incentive than incentive of the founder, right? So they want to finish the project or just move on to another thing, or they want to consider something is done, and then founder have a situation where they feel like something's not right here, like something's not, but they cannot pinpoint because they don't understand like technological foundations of their product. So I feel like this thing here looks like some of those cases.
I hear you. Martin, what are your thoughts on this?
So I could understand it differently as well. So if this is a fitness app and I'm running in a forest and now I have bad connectivity at a certain moment, and the app takes data and then afterwards synchronizes it, and then all of a sudden half an hour later when I do have connectivity, I get like, oh great, you're this and that, and it's no longer relevant to me, that because you didn't really give me real-time information. If that's the issue, then it's basically a connectivity issue, with the customer not all the time being connected. And then the best solution could actually be to move a lot of that logic from like a backend system that needs this data to be synced to inside the app, if it really requires real time, to then implement those type of things inside the app, so that like even if it's not connected, or you don't have good connectivity, you can still provide feedback to the user in a real time way.
I see. Thank you very much to both of you for that. To be honest with you, I'm totally lost on this. So I'm not even going to attempt anything. But for me, especially if and when you have technical questions, please try to be here in person, because it's not easy for us to just try and take wild guesses. And especially if you have a host like me who is quite ignorant on the tech sides. So maybe you want to join us next Tuesday, live, and we'll ask whichever panel we have that. Right here, a quick reset of the conversation. We'll then go on to Becca, who's asked a question in the chat. So you have reached StartUp to ScaleUp .club's startup product and tech Q&A. We do this every Tuesday from 12 to 1 p.m. UK time, and we're here to help you build your early stage. So you can ask us any questions you have on product and tech, whether they're, let's say, your product roadmap or design or prototype or testing, low to no code, automation, maybe launching your MVP, and anything and beyond or between for that matter. The idea is quite simple. If you're tuning in via our live streams, YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn, or Instagram, unfortunately, we're unable to monitor your questions now. So you would need to join us here on Microsoft Teams. It's interactive, it's live audio and audio only. You can do that either via the links on the live streams, or simply go to startup-to-scaleup.club. Look for today's session, which is Startup Product and Tech Q&A 146. You click join, say quick registration, and then you'll get a link to your email where you can join us. Once you're here in Microsoft Teams, just like Becca did, you type your question in the chat, and then we give you the mic. On the other hand, if your questions today are not on product and tech, please save them for the other conversations we run. Monday's talent, Tuesday's product and tech, Wednesday's growth, Thursday's fundraising, second Friday of the month it's legal, and third Friday of the month it's finances. They're all from 12 to 1 p.m. UK time. Like I said, you can RSVP to any of them via our site, StartUp.ScaleUp.club. And actually, when you're there, you might want to join our WhatsApp community of founders, investors, and operators. By doing that, you'll also get alerts to all future rooms we do. Now, Becca, are you able to talk?
Yeah, hello.
Very good. Please introduce yourself and then fire away with your question.
Okay. Hi, so I'm Becca from 36 Bus Productions, and I think I was a bit late, but I think you saw our video at the beginning. So it's a kind of wellness app based on reggae music, healing powers of reggae. And yeah, we're very much a startup, and we have been doing a lot actually. But at the moment, we are a little bit stuck with our prototype stroke early testing, very early rough testing app. However, we do have our one fully finished meditation to reggae, and we've got another 3 sort of nearing completion. And I'm wondering, these are on MP3. Could the MP3s be shared? Because I hear what you say about getting it out there, getting feedback, you know, from people, market testing. So would this be a way to start?
It's a very good question and very well done on what you've done so far. So basically, when you say MP3, do you mean to only share just the video on like I don't know, let's say you could even share it on a message, or do you mean share it in your app?
Well, yeah, we don't have the app. That's the problem. We do have the website. It's not a video, it's sound. I mean, they're all sound. The meditations are all sound. You know, you listen to them probably with your eyes shut or while you're working. So
I hear you. Okay, well, personally, I would find a way so that people can use that maybe in the evening as they go to sleep, or when they want to sort of just kind of collect themselves and find a minute of peace. I would actually test it and just see what people think. I would start with that. Let's hear what the experts got to say. Let's start with Martin this time, and then Mario. Martin, would you just share this to test it?
Yeah, so definitely, if the objective is to show what's coming, it's a great thing to show people. The other thing that you could do is also have a set of Figmas with what the app or the solution will look like, and ask people feedback, because you might be building something that people don't understand, and they might go like, why do I need this, or I don't need this, or what I'm missing is that I wouldn't use it if that's not there. So you don't have to go and build a whole platform before you can ask that feedback.
mm-hmm.
And definitely, if you want to go and create a brand, putting out like good production quality things is definitely useful.
Yeah, I mean, that's the problem. We don't have the wherewithal to put out a good quality thing. The branding is not, you know, that's something that we are hoping to do in collaboration with the university. That will be later this year. So are we going to be a bit at risk if we go out without any branding? And we're just getting people to listen to stuff mainly? So
basically, the biggest problem nowadays is not to make an app or a solution that generates meditation and soundscapes. It's basically making sure there's an audience that wants to engage and part with their money for it.
Uh-huh.
So that's what you really want to try to test out as soon as possible. Like, hey, we are going to make this type of thing. Is that useful to you? And would you pay for this or that? That's something you could ask. And then another thing that actually is super useful is if you can make it go viral, because we live in an attention economy. So if you have a way that like people go like, hey, I did this meditation, I am now so relaxed, or whatever, or like anything else that they can share so that others can see it and download, or like synchronous meditation between multiple people, whatever it is, but like involving more than one person, or having one person that loves it tell 1,000 others. Those type of things will be very useful to get traction.
Sure, but yeah, that's great. I mean, that's what we definitely hope to do. But when we've kind of tied up our trademarking and that kind of thing. But yeah, 100%. And I mean, we have been telling people about it, and we have had a lot of interest.
Yeah, and let people sign up. Like, hey, this is what's coming. Sign up here to get notified when it's available.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what. I'll go to Mario first, and then I'll quickly add something as well. Mario, what are your thoughts on this?
Okay, so I'm not sure that I fully understand your kind of underlying question here. Is it like where to focus to get initial traction, or what is it? Because
no,
I'm not
Mario,
sure.
I think if I understood Becca correctly, so they're building an app that will use reggae music to help people's mental well-being. Now they've got some of those sounds, and she's asking, can we just share these sounds before we build the app or not? Is that right, Becca?
Yes, and not
Yep.
just sounds, but we've got meditation spoken with to the sounds.
There you go.
Right. Okay. So this is like how to get pre-launch traction, basically, for your product, right?
Yeah, and also to get feedback from people, to to take on board what they say, so as to make it what they want.
I mean, you definitely need to do something like that. You need to share all of that. Like, for example, if you go to any app really, and you're gonna find they have blog section or some content section where they're trying to get some sort of Google search around topic on their app, right? So if you go to any to-do list app, you're gonna find a lot of articles around productivity, how to organize your day, and they start doing that. You want to look up like DigitalOcean content strategy, right? And like see how they do it like long time ago, right? But this is more like how to, so basically getting some buzz around your product even before you have it, right? And obviously collect some feedback, build some emailing list and so on, right?
Yeah.
So there's a lot of angles you could take this on, right? If you, let's say, okay, reggae music, then you have interesting niche there related to people who are into reggae music and also need a meditation app, right? So there's different way to, not just about music, like about sharing particular sound or whatever. It's all about how to reach out to that audience that might be kind of early adopters of your app without having an app ready, like without having them something to download, right?
Yeah.
And there's like, that's pretty much what you have to do. It's not like kind of question of choice, right? Those guys are going to be very uphill battle to get some users, right? And this is probably for, I know, Anton, if you have, is it product market fit or like growth? I think it's probably growth call question, right? How to kind of,
just at an extent, but also from what I can understand, Becca wants to know, is it a bad idea to share it now that things aren't ready, i.e. the app is not ready, the branding is not ready, and all that jazz, right, Becca?
Yeah.
I mean, if brand is not ready, like nobody's gonna really remember it in the beginning, right? So like I wouldn't worry too much about it. Like even like your brand is gonna change, name is gonna change, it doesn't matter, because you know the
No,
point is like, are we able to get some traction, someone to just land on that page, read an article, maybe subscribe to some sort of a list or follow you on some social media, and get also some visibility on Google, for example, or like get some visibility on social media about that, and they'll just get all that kind of organic marketing machinery going on, because it takes, you know, it takes some time to, you know, you're gonna try things and they're not gonna work, they're gonna try some other things, they're gonna work, and so on, right? So I would say like just share everything, go to every possible network that you can maintain, and figure out like what audience you want to reach out, and just like try to get some traction there. Like don't worry about branding, you might change application name, that doesn't matter. What's important, like you being able to kind of inject yourself into that conversation around that particular topic of your app. Is it meditation, is it reggae, is it combination of those, is it, you know, mindfulness or whatever else is it, right? And then, you know, you're gonna keep getting some people now, and you're gonna keep getting them tomorrow, and then like at some point you realize, okay, I have like 20 new visitors landing on my page or blog or whatever. And then, you know, at some point when you're ready, it's gonna be, okay guys, like here's, download the app, right? And you like still keep doing this same thing that you were doing before the app, because nobody really cares at this point, right? You need to kind of, that's very harsh truth, but you need to kind of, nobody, so if you're gonna change the name, nobody's gonna, oh, you know, why did you change branding and you didn't tell us? That's not gonna happen, right? So just share everything without kind of thinking too much about, oh, what I'm gonna, you know, just sharing and getting attention, because you're not kind of in attention grabbing business. You need all that attention, and you need, you know, you have to exchange it for something, right?
Thank you. Don't you
Thank
think
you very
someone
much,
might
Maria.
nick our idea if we do that? Someone with more money to get going?
Becca, trust me, there are plenty of other people that have thought of this idea, and others. So it's not about the idea that it's important, but it's the execution that is important. And in my experience, those that can steal your idea haven't got the time, and those that have got the time, they can't steal it. But anyway, Mario, did you want to add anything to this?
No, I think, yeah, I'm good. Thank you.
Becca, here's what I would do. Have
Mhm.
you got a website yet?
Yeah, we do. Very basic, you know, but yeah, we have.
That's fine. That's fine. What I would do three things. If you want, you can write some of it down, but you can always go back to the recording.
Mhm.
Number one, I would find an app that people can just click, and you can even do that on your website. You can then copy the codes so that people can listen to it via your website. But the idea is you want some kind of app that people can click on it, and their phone or device will not close or play up. So if you use, let's say, YouTube, you have to keep your phone open and all that jazz. So you're going to find that tricky. What I would do is go to, I don't know, like SoundCloud or one of the podcasting apps, and just put that there. Two, I would start a WhatsApp group. Just invite as many people and share this and get a conversation going. On the website, for people that want to listen to that, you need to find a way to have like a waiting list and say to them, look, the app is coming. Here's a preview of some of the sounds and some of the work. And for them to register, make it easy for them to join you. All you need from them, it's a phone number and an email address.
Perfect.
Not everybody will be willing to give you their phone number, but what I would do is I would make it compulsory for them to give you their email address and location, and then leave it as optional for the phone number.
Okay.
Some people made the phone number compulsory too. I've seen people being put off by that, so I'm not sure. But I would actually love to get Mario's and Martin's thoughts on that. So that's the second thing. The third thing I would do is get on TikTok, get on calls with other people, and show people the power of these sounds. Maybe if you can find either somebody who's got a larger following on TikTok, or even just with your friends, just do this. Try and do this, I don't know, find 1 to 5 minutes every day on TikTok to be with somebody else and talk about these sounds. Just everybody and anybody can put aside 5 minutes to be on TikTok. And if you can't, then you shouldn't have a startup, if that makes sense.
Okay. Can I quick question? Does it
Sure.
have to be TikTok? Could it be Instagram? Because a lot of the reggae community is actually on Instagram.
Now, I said TikTok because of what it offers. I'm not sure if you can get the same momentum with Instagram. You'd have to speak to somebody who is more knowledgeable than I am on Instagram, I'm afraid.
Maybe both.
Maybe both. Yes, you're right. But I'm just thinking, based on what I've seen, there seems to be an easier way to get people basically interested if you go on TikTok, because then you can have kind of other people can jump in your call and you can talk and all that. But I think with Insta, again, it just shows how useless I am. But with Insta, I'm not sure it's that good, to have more than one person on the call.
Yeah, you have lives.
Pardon?
There are lives on Instagram. So
No,
yeah.
I am aware, but can you have 2 or 3 people speak and
can
have a video? Okay.
Yeah, but anyway, yeah, I think both would be good. Like
So this is what I would do. Have a WhatsApp group, get the conversation going, and on the website have a waiting list and say to people, click to hear this sound. And in terms of brand, keep it simple. Just use the words on the website that this is your copyright, and you can also use that on the audio bit as well. This is 36 Buzz Production copyrighted brand, and then you just go from there. Because I tell you what, if anybody wants to steal it, it doesn't matter what branding you have, they'll find a way.
Okay.
So the idea is you need to get things going.
So one last question then. So we are trademarking our name because we're not going to change it. And should we maybe wait until we've got that trademark to go really viral?
Again, you'll get the trademark, and I guarantee you, if somebody wants to steal it, they still will be able to.
Okay.
But again, this is not legal advice, by the way, Becca.
Yeah.
I want to be extremely clear on this. But speaking from experience, if you can, yes, it's nice getting a trademark, but it's not going to make or break your business. That's the point I'm trying to make. And one thing I've noticed is that you've got to be extremely frugal with a startup.
Yeah.
And,
yeah, no choice.
just an idea there.
Yeah, brilliant. All right, thank you. That's some golden, ideas. Thank you.
You're very welcome, and best of luck. Right, you. A quick reset of the conversation. We've only got 18 minutes to go. This is Startup Product and Tech Q&A. It's our 146th session. We've been doing these for 4 years now, and the idea is quite simple. We're here to help startups with whatever questions you may have in terms of building your early stage product or tech. By the way, please do mute your mics because it creates an echo if you're not talking, people. So we're here to help startups with whatever questions you may have as you build your early stage product and tech, whether it's your, shall we say, product roadmap, design, perhaps your prototype, testing, MVP, and anything in between or beyond. There are no wrong questions, and there's no need to be shy. For those of you that are following us via the live streams, whether it's LinkedIn, YouTube, Instagram, or Facebook, There's no point in sending me messages right now because we are unable to monitor your questions there. You'll have to join us live here on Microsoft Teams. It's live audio and audio only. And you can do that by going to our website, startup2scaleup.club. Look out for today's session, which is Startup Product and Tech Q&A 146. You click join, quick registration. You'll then get an email with the link to join. And then you just click on that and you're in. When you're here, you can do what Becca just did. You type your question in the app, and then we give you the mic and you ask our amazing panel. However, if your questions today are not on talent, then please save them for the other conversations we run. So on Mondays, it's talent. On Tuesdays, it's product and tech. On Wednesdays, it's growth. On Thursdays, it's fundraising. On the second Friday of each month, it's UK startup law. And on the third Friday of each month, it's UK startup finances. And they're all from 12 to 1 p.m. UK time. And you can RSVP to any of them via our site, startup2scaleup.club. Actually, when you're on our site, it's a good idea for you to join our WhatsApp community. There's a WhatsApp icon at the top and bottom of our website, and you'll join our community of founders, investors, and operators, as well as also getting your alerts to all future events that we run. Now, without further ado, we'll go to another question that was sent in to us. And okay, this is another one from London. So, by the way, Mario and Martin, if you want, you can have a look at it here on the website, sorry, in the chat. So, my social network startup in London connects users interested in wellness activities. And we've noticed our engagement metrics vary widely between iOS, Android, and web. Notifications, especially, don't perform consistently across platforms, affecting user retention. How can we design a cross-platform notification system that performs uniformly? And should we consider separate development pipelines for critical features, or is there a way to streamline everything under one framework? And seriously, is there a need for another social network? Okay, let's go to Mario and then Martin on this. Mario?
Okay, so different engagement numbers between web and mobile and web, Android, and iOS first might be coming from those different types of users on each platform, and that's probably one of the especially on web, because web they're coming from big screens and versus using mobile app. So and depending on their acquisition strategy, where are they getting those users from? I've seen that, for example, some conversion rates and revenue per user is much higher on a lot of places, on, for example, on Apple devices, right, versus Android. So that's one thing to consider. About notification itself, you cannot do much there because notifications are being delivered through Google/Apple infrastructure. So it's not that you deliver a notification on your own. So I'm not sure, like, do they have some specific problem there, or maybe on Android users would be they have better tooling to, I don't know, like suppress notifications, control them, and because Android is a little bit more open there. But on notification itself, it's just you're not doing a lot there. You just push to Google, and then Google distributes that notification to users. So I'm not sure that if those numbers are very, very different, then it's probably something else, not notification itself. It's probably the way they show them, the way they is it a bug on what happens when you open notification and so on.
That's what I thought.
So yeah,
bug.
yeah.
Interesting. Again, please, guys, you've got questions. We're grateful that you sent them. Join the bleeding thing live. We've got like today and many other days, we've got two brilliant people on the panel. How on earth are we meant to, or how on earth are they meant to give you the right answers? Martin.
Finally, that unmute button. So yeah. So look, if it's one infrastructure that like handles it from the backend side, if that's an issue, like Firebase or some other thing, allows you to notify multiple type of devices from iOS, Android, web, and so on. So that if you're not doing something like that, that could be helpful. Then so that should give you, for instance, a uniform way. If this is really critical, you could build your own notification. But I agree with Mario that like that could yeah, be more work than it's worthwhile, and you also have to have things like battery drainage and other type of things into consideration, and some platforms put your app to sleep and so on and so on. So there's definitely things that like are very specific to each platform that you have to understand, and as such, it might not actually be the notification that's the problem, but like things like permissions around your app, because by default, if your app is not being used, the OS might put it to sleep. And if you don't have the right permissions, then this is the behavior. And if it's asleep, then notifications will not arrive. So what you need to do in those type of cases is request from the user the permission that like the OS doesn't put your app to sleep, and that is always running in the background, which requires specific permissions on Android and on iOS. So that might be a source of the problem.
Thank you very much for that to both of you. I think we can go to one more question that was sent in, and I'll just copy and paste that here. Okay, it's in the chat. I'm going to read it for those of you that are tuning in via the live stream. So this is from a social tech founder. She's based in Cardiff. They're pre-seed, and she used to be a community organizer. So she says, our social platform aims to connect local volunteers with community projects. I don't know why, but this sounds familiar. I hope I haven't taken this question before. We're trying to decide if we should build out all the social features like messaging and notifications ourselves, or use third-party APIs to speed things up. What risks are involved with relying on third-party APIs for core features? And how can we plan for potential integration challenges? Wow, this is a good question, actually. Let's start with Martin. For Martin, it's one, I guess, question one would be build it themselves or API. To talk about the risks and also integration. And I'm guessing this would also include tech debt at a later stage. And if we have time, maybe we can talk about what are some of the things that can be used and how would you do it? And
Yeah,
I just realized I've thrown you about 50,000 questions. Sorry, buddy.
No worries. So yeah, notification, like I think the standard is using Firebase, but there might be others. So definitely you don't want to go and make your own notification service. Google, Microsoft, and others have cross-device notification services. It makes absolutely no sense to try to do something for social network there. Messaging, that is a different beast, because it's not about technology here. It's about a network effect. So you might have the best messaging infrastructure, But if all your friends are on a worse one, then you will join the worse one. That's the reason why now Meta, but before Facebook bought WhatsApp, they could build, and they have built since then, Messenger. But WhatsApp was taking everybody by storm. Several of these big digital companies have like not taken in their early days network effect serious, and then what happened was that like they lost out. Think about Microsoft with like the OS. Think about Apple and like sorry, Google, and not having like a real-time notification system or messaging app that everybody uses, and so on and so on. So basically, messaging in that sense is not a technology decision, but where's everybody? You could use third-party solutions. Telegram, for instance, would be an example of what you could integrate. Others are more costly, so if you would integrate WhatsApp or whatever, then it's probably a business account. So then the cost price would be totally different. And there's also third-party hosters that like have solutions for this that technology-wise make it easy, but then you have to find all the users and so on. So it's a little bit more than the technology. It's like, what is your strategy?
You said about users, Martin. Sorry, Mario. I'll get to you in 1 second as well, buddy. If she found the users, can you do that via, I don't know, the likes of WhatsApp or anything like that for free? Are there similar sort of messaging systems that you could do it for free or not?
So at the moment, for instance, you have APIs to Telegram, which has 950 million users, that you could use to from your app message directly in both directions to people on Telegram. The risk, of course, is today it's free, tomorrow it's not. So if you then find out that you didn't develop your own, you might have a challenge. So one of the strategies could be support multiple in the background, but create your own so that you can like switch it off. You have things like matrix.org that have like a lot of these backend systems already. This is not easy. You need to talk to experts around like how to have a global messaging platform that's always available. There might be SaaS products that can help you. For now, end-to-end encryption definitely is the hardest part there, which also has a whole lot of legal issues. And then if you wanted to use something like WhatsApp, there's business APIs, but you'd have to pay per message that you send without like the user proactively you send. The other way around that is if people add you to their contacts. But then again, it's hard because it's normally foreseen for a business account where I say like, hey, I'm this business. If you add me to your contacts and then send me a message, it's free. But if I send it directly to you, then I have to pay. And now it becomes harder if you have your own WhatsApp and
do you know anything about the pricing on this on WhatsApp?
I don't know exact pricing, but I think it gets expensive on a social network scale very quickly.
I hear. And that's some very good points. Mario, what would you do here?
I think, I mean, you whatever you can avoid building, you shouldn't be building. So everything that, like for chat, there's amazing APIs out there for everything pretty much, right? So, you know, all those things you have to kind of utilize to just shorten time to market, shorten expenses and so on, right? So it's not about, you know, oh, should I do it or not? It's necessity if you want really to compete and be able to get to the market in reasonable time and budget. So, you know, whenever it's that decision, if you're like just starting out, whenever you have the decision, oh, should I build or buy, it's always you should buy. You should always get those APIs, you know. So right now I'm integrating CRM integration for a client, and they want to have integration with like 5 CRM systems, right? And imagine what kind of work that would be that you build separately for integration with Salesforce, integration with Dynamics, with HubSpot, and so on, right? But we found company, called API Deck, that you use one API and basically it gives you access to all CRM APIs at once, right? And that's like
Wow,
crazy amount
good.
of.
And how much were they?
I mean, they charge you like by connection, right? So it's gonna be at the beginning nothing, right? It's gonna be like, I don't know, 50 per month or 100 per month, whatever, right? It's very, but like comparing amount of work to get those integrations working, it's just, no brainer, right? You still, so basically, as much as kind of gluing you can do as a founder in the beginning, just to glue different API services and so on, the better. And the less technology you can build in the beginning, the better. You still need to code, right? But it's one thing having to integrate two APIs and glue them together and produce something out of it versus implementing some kind of deep service, like hardcore technology service on your own, like just building chat building, because especially, for example, like let's say you have a chat, right? And then you want to build a chat, but then like people expecting WhatsApp level quality in your chat app, right? And obviously you cannot have that cheaply, right? So they will expect statuses, they will expect emoticons, they will expect videos.
Buy cheap, buy twice then.
And then if it looks like, if it looks bad, it's not to that level, then like they won't use it, right? So it's very, it's very, so you want to make sure if you had a feature that then that feature is kind of comparable to what people are used to use elsewhere, right? So in that sense, you have to just integrate. You cannot build most of it. You cannot build.
Fair enough. Well, that is brilliant. And guess what? It's now 1 p.m. right on the dot. I'm very grateful to both you, Mario and Martin, for your wisdom and your time today. Fellas, before we let you go, have you got any parting words for us? Martin, shall we start with you and then Mario?
The startup world is hard, but if you look at like who are among the most successful people in the world, entrepreneurship is a good path. So if you're doing it for the money, that's a good thing, but that's a good path. But reality is, if you're not in love with what you're doing, you are not going to make it most of the time. So do something that you really want to dedicate a good part of your life to. Otherwise, you're probably not going to make it.
Boy, those are some powerful words. Thank you, Martin. Mario. Are you still with us, Mr. Tomic? You need to unmute. I think you might be having trouble with your mic. Okay, no worries, Mario. It's fine. Right, here. Well, huge thanks to everyone for joining us today. This has been Startup Product and Tech Q&A. It was our 146th session. We run quite a few events. We do 6 regular ones: Mondays Talent, Tuesdays Product and Tech, Wednesdays Growth, Thursdays Fundraising. Second Friday of the month, it's UK Startup Law. Third Friday of the month, it's UK Startup Finances. They're all from 12 to 1 p.m. UK time. And you can RSVP to any of them via our site, startup-to-scaleup.club. When you go there, simply find the session you want to join, and then it's a quick registration. A quick reminder to those of you that tuned in via the live streams, whether that's LinkedIn, YouTube, Facebook, or Instagram, please be aware that unfortunately we're unable to monitor your questions there live. So if you do want to ask us anything next time, you need to be here on our Microsoft Teams calls. They're audio only, which means you can join us from anywhere. By the way, if you make it to our website, startup-to-scaleup.club, want to make sure you join our WhatsApp community, which is made of fellow founders, investors, operators, and supporters. And you can do that by clicking the WhatsApp icon at the top or bottom of our website. Otherwise, we'll see you tomorrow for Startup Growth Q&A. As far as my parting words are concerned, just remember the startup journey can be both challenging but also quite exciting. So try to have some fun in the meantime and be kind to yourself and everyone else for that matter too. Again, hopefully see you tomorrow for Startup Growth that will help people grow from 0 to hero. Thank you and God bless. Bye-bye for now.